Hi everyone, this is Oliver Lucanus, Conservation Ambassador for Fluval Aquatics. I thought we would have a look at eartheaters, one of my favorite group of cichlids. At the moment, there are about 80 cichlids in this group, including 31 species of Geophagus, 20 Gymnogeophagus, and we can add 2 Biotodoma and 8 Satanoperca to the list. And there are at least another 20 species of Geophagians that do not have a name yet. These cichlids occur from Panama all the way south to Argentina. So what makes these fish so interesting? I think to begin with, they are, considering their size, rather peaceful. They are also fun to watch because they are constantly digging for food. The genus name Geophagus literally means earth eater because these fish chew through the substrate for food. But the most interesting thing about these fish is that many species are somewhat easy to breed and most of them are mouth brooders. Either mouth brooding the eggs immediately or at least mouth brooding the fry after their eggs have hatched. In part 2, we will look at the different species, and I'll give you some suggestions of which species I think are the easiest and best to start with. In part 1, I want to give you some ideas on what the ideal setup looks like and what you will need to keep these fish healthy. Geophagus are moderately aggressive cichlids that won't damage each other and largely ignore tank mates that don't fit in their mouth. I found that most species do well with tetras that are not too small. Think of something the size of a black skirt or a bleeding heart tetra. They also do great with any of the fancy plecos or other medium-sized catfish, including larger corridoras. Plants are mostly ignored, but because they love to dig, they will tend to uproot your plants constantly. More important is the substrate. You will want to use fine sand, or a mixture of sand and small gravel, which will also look more natural. In nature, you rarely find substrates that are uniform like those in our aquariums. Check out our Fluval video on substrates to get an idea of how to blend sand and gravel to get a more natural look. The ideal earth-eater tank should have open areas for them to chew the substrate, and some rocks and driftwood around the margins. I also like to add some caves, so if the males chase the females too much, they have a place to get out of their line of sight. Many species like to deposit their eggs on a flat rock, and it is a good idea to offer some ideal flat surfaces in the form of a matchbox-sized pebble. Geophagus will eat virtually any food offered, including all flake and frozen foods, but I find that bug bites are the ideal food for these fish. Water changes are crucial for Geophagus because in old water or water with high levels of organics like nitrate, they tend to get hole-in-the-head disease or other bacterial disease. A strong filtration and weekly water changes of 30 to 50% are needed to keep these fish healthy long term. In part 2, let's look at some species differences and what I think are the best earth eaters to start with and what their typical habitat looks like. Check out my channel for a 2-part Geophagus species guide and more videos showing these amazing cichlids in nature. Thanks for tuning in and make sure to share this video on your social media and subscribe to Fluval Aquatics.